Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 11 of Proxima Beyond. Last time we had quite the adventure capturing the Assert base. We took down some drones, but well, our fighter ran out of fuel and crashed. Not our finest moment. So here's the plan for today. We're gonna need to upgrade our fighter to make sure it stays in the air longer. But before we get to that, we have something urgent to work on. Let me just sit down for a second.
Station fuel low.
Yeah, that started right after I ended recording last episode. So our power situation is critical and we need to prioritize that first of all. I'm gonna close this off and we're gonna turn off our refiner for a bit. And that should hopefully save us a little bit of time. Let me see. We are now at 11 minutes and I'm hoping it's gonna go up. 11 minutes. So we're gonna have to focus on the power for sure. Let's see. Inventory, control, batteries. Fully recharged in 2 days. 2 days, 2 days. So we are not draining. We are storing power right now. But we're only doing that with one solar panel. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna try to expand the solar powers a little bit so they become larger, and then we can look into building a second one as well. And we're just gonna add a few solar panels on top, the bottom, and maybe a few angled one as well. So let's put these in production. Silly parallax vessel. You should have picked another route. 5.36. There's a few of them starting to spawn in. I do like the fact that they are actually interacting with each other. That's pretty cool. Alright, by adding those solar panels, we should at least double our power output. Okay, seems like the parallax and Incon ship are fighting each other, which is nice. That might give us some extra salvage. But yes, I did add the parallax now as well to the MES pack. That means we have another faction to deal with. There we go. So this is now a pretty big solar panel. Let's check how our batteries are dealing with that. Battery. Alright. 10 hours. 10 hours. 10 hours. So that halved the time to recharge the battery. That's nice. That means we should be able to kick in the refinery again now. So we should expand, build a second power tower. We're gonna boost that, but let's focus on something first. I'm gonna have to make a to-do list because now and then I am definitely like running around like a headless chicken and forgetting what I was actually doing. So what I'm planning on doing is to build a LCD. Oh, what? What the hell were you guys shooting? There's nothing nearby. You guys are too far away. You're only 600 meters. Everything is too far away to shoot. So what did you guys fire at? A drone, maybe? Maybe some shrapnel that came down? Yeah, I think we should definitely focus on some defenses as well. Okay, what I'm gonna do here, we're gonna take this one away, this sofa here, and we're gonna put a LCD block in here. So we should be able to put an LCD block like this. And that should allow me to put something on there, like a small to-do list, and then we can always adjust that. To do. First of all, we need to check for more power. More power. Then we want to test atmosphere. So we want to check if we can actually retract oxygen and if we can fly on the atmosphere. Next, if that is working, this should be a sub mission, which is add Atmo to Stinger and add Atmo to Fighter, which we're gonna have to name now. People definitely gave us names for it. Then we're gonna do the Fighter. We're gonna rework, let's say, upgrade Fighter, because that's definitely something we're gonna need to do. Upgrade Fighter. Is that it? And we also need to set our airlocks. So program airlocks. I probably will test the atmosphere first so I can know what I can do with those airlocks. And that's gonna be it for the moment, I think. Of things we want to focus on today, hopefully. Another thing we should focus on is adding defenses. So I want to see public title, yes. No content, just text and images. There we go. So first things we're gonna do is we're gonna focus on more power. So solar panels and wind turbines. To be honest, we should check. I need to still grind this down. Maybe we should just build a few wind turbines as well. Honestly, I have no idea what you guys were shooting. But it should have been close because it was like 6. You only have like 600 meters to shoot now. So I'm assuming you have been shooting like decoy blocks. Reputation with income dropped.
Inventory full.
Okay. Did we ever have a good reputation with income anyway? We have to ensure that the shadow of our solar panel is not covering anything of our other solar panels. So we should check where are the solar panels aiming at before we actually build the second one. But for the moment, what we're going to focus on, I'm going to build a few wind turbines. Let's start with one wind turbine. Let's see how that powers. Does it do a good job? Does it do more than the solar panel? Then we can focus on that first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Is that too close? Maybe. Let's grind them down. I'm gonna move them 2 blocks out, but I'm gonna have to drill some ice away. Otherwise I won't see my cubes. My frames. I think 2 blocks, maybe 3 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you know what? I might just work with the cylinders as well. It's just gonna look nicer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think there should be wind turbines in here, no? Yeah. Now, as far as I remember, this is gonna do a better job than this one. They do use the same amount, but if I build... Let's just compare. I'll just compare how much power does this generate. How much are you generating? You're generating 346 kilowatts. $392. So the small turbines do more, provide more power. Now somebody said if it's not completely functional, it makes less power. I don't believe that's true, but you know, this makes sense what you're saying here, but I don't believe that's actual a fact in the game. Oh, okay. So that doesn't make any difference. This is making 391.2, 391.1. This doesn't make any difference. So as soon as it's functional, it will give you power. So it doesn't make any difference to... let's weld these up as well. The fact that my wind turbines work, that means there is an atmosphere. That means we should be able to work with atmo thrusters. Now, this one is generating 390.9. So this is 150, 150. So that's 2 solar panels. That's 300. So this is generating more power than 2 solar panels. And they also do work during the night. 8 hours. Okay. So I'm going to build a few more of those. I'm going to build a few more solar wind turbines. These should survive.
Energy critical.
Yeah, I'm aware. These should provide us with the power we need. How much are you generating? 286 versus 390. I'm losing 100 kilowatts on that wind turbine. So if I would have built them all separately, this would have made me 400 kilowatt more, but it also would have cost me way more materials to build it. So honestly, I think it's for the moment worth to use this one, and we can always experiment later with seeing how this is improved or not. But okay, so what I did, I built it on 1 pillar, and I divide it over in 4 spots so we can have 4 wind turbines on 1 pillar. I'm losing 400 kilowatts per hour by this compared with putting them all separately, but I'm also gaining a lot of resources, so I think we're gonna go for that and then expand or improve on it later. The sun is going down, so it's gonna be time soon to hit the hay. Let's hit the hay, let's go to bed, and we can continue the rest tomorrow. Let's see, control panel, battery, 4 hours. That's much better now. That feels much better. So let's weld up the towers so we don't need to bother about this anymore. I need resources for this. I need resources for this, and I need resources for this. So, alright, I think we can scratch something from the list, and that was more power. So, the first thing I want to do, we did not check it yet, but I think we can check if there is planetary atmosphere by just putting an air vent here and try to retract oxygen from this place. Actually, what I could do instead is just, if I close you and I put you on depressurize, are we retracting any oxygen? Do I have an oxygen tank here? I don't. All right, so I'm going to turn you off and I'm going to put an oxygen tank on here. I want to see if we are making oxygen by just depressurizing the area. Oh, there's a light there. That's why. Okay, let me just place it here though. All right. This is stockpiling, but
Inventory.
yeah, I know. I need to turn something off because you guys all have O2 generators in here. So control panel, O2 generators. Let's turn you off. Let's turn you off. Let's turn you off, and you should be off already. You're empty, so let me just weld you up. Doesn't seem to be making any oxygen. So, this is set on depressurize. Oxygen is 0.0%. Alright, so there's no oxygen on this planet. But the fact that the wind turbines are working does mean that the atmospheric thruster should work. Alright, now that we know there's no oxygen, we can think about making our airlocks. So there's a few things I want to do before. So I did some testing already, and I've been checking somebody that made the guide. It was Mechengineer, I think it was. I'll drop a link in the description anyway to his video where he explains how he does the airlock. The problem with his system is that once you have a full oxygen tank, you will no longer be able to depressurize. So that's going to be the plan for today, is to make sure that we also never get to a point where we cannot depressurize. So the first thing we're going to do, and that's going to be a problem. Damn it. How can we make this work? Because every ship I have has an oxygen generator. The issue with depressurizing is that it doesn't work. So if, let's say we close this off, all right? And I now set this on depressurize. This will never depressurize. You can see I'm still in oxygen and warm. So because this is not depressurizing, it also doesn't allow the trigger to happen. As you can see, the pressurizing is going extremely slow. If I put the vent here, like this, which is now set to try to pressurize this room, okay? So, if I now try to depressurize you, is this going to work? No, you see? Oxygen status is going so extremely slow, and that is because the oxygen cannot go anywhere. Even the vent outside that we put there is not putting any oxygen out, it just stopped working. How can we... You almost have to build your airlock system on a separate system, because I'm not... Alright, so what was my plan? My plan was to turn off my oxygen generator once we reach 90% on our oxygen tank. The problem is, even if I turn this one off, all the O2 generators on my ship are going to do this. And there is no way for me to control transfer of oxygen out of here. What we could do is put event controllers on all of our ships that turns off the O2 generator once it's connected. And we're going to have to put a few, because for example on this one I want to put an event controller that also gives me an alarm when I'm getting to a point where the hydrogen is getting very low. Also, another thing I noticed while I was building is, you see my gun here? You see this gun here? Yeah. So I need to move this gun one step deeper, and that was why this one didn't have any ammo, why we had issues with that ammo. So we're going to need to move this one in. So event controller here, event controller there, and an event controller there. If the ship is connected with the connector, it will turn off our oxygen generator. All right, so that's step one. Then, step two, I have a jetpack. I'm so used playing that scrapyard playthrough. All right. Next step is going to be this one has to turn off the O2 generator once the tanks are at 90%. And I might just do 2 tanks and I might put 50%. That should give us enough a buffer to use those tanks as a pressurized option. We're just going to have to find some spots where we're going to put that. Now, the advantage here, this one we still need to weld off. So I'm going to put 2 event controllers on this. 1, 2. Foundation should be pretty simple. I'm wondering if I should just put them in the walls like I did with the container. Like, you have to like that. You put your event controllers like this. It's like a little monitor in the ship. Like this. And we take over the color, so it looks, of course, part of the ship. There we go. That looks pretty cool. And I'm gonna rename those event controllers. Let me just do no longer charge, no longer fill, engines on, disconnect, and then check event controllers. There we go. Now, this was the ground hornet, so we're gonna have to give these the ground hornet name. Let me just group them and put prefix. That's gonna be easier. There we go. All right. We're gonna call this event controller connection. All right. Now, what this one is gonna do? This one is just gonna check if the connector is connected. This one. Select actions. First thing we want to do is say O2 generator off, and here it's going to be on. And I want to check if that is going to happen now. Let me just add that O2 generator to my list so I can see what happens. It's on. If I connect, it's still on. Now it turned off, so we just need to reverse it. Event controller connection setup actions. So this one has to be off, toggle block off, and then this one has to be toggle block on. So that means if I now connect, O2 generator is going off. If I disconnect, O2 generator is going on. Good. Now we can just focus on the rest as well in the meantime while we're here. So event controller connection, and the next actions I want to do, that's in the toolbar too. This is off. This means when it's connected, this is happening. Disconnected is this. So toolbar 2, I want to go to my groups. I want to put my batteries. Recharge on. Enable auto. This means that every time I disconnect, it should automatically put the battery back on auto. And when I connect, it should recharge. Toolbar 3. We need to put this one on stockpile on, stockpile off. So now connection, disconnection. And toolbar 4 is going to be thrusters off, on, I think. So that means if I now connect, everything is going to turn off. I'm going to go on charge. I'm going to run the restock. If I disconnect, everything is turned on, and also my... Yeah, all right, good. Good. So now this is no longer going to make any more oxygen, so it's just going to drain the oxygen from my base every time I'm doing this. We're going to do the same here once I did a better job of my fighter, and we're going to do the same in this foundation, but there's no need to show you this again, so I'm just going to skip ahead to when I'm done with this. So, to set up this airlocks, I'm going to need a whole bunch of event controllers. I'm going to build a few of them. Now, I'm going to take the color here, the gray, and just we're going to place it above the refinery. Does look like I need some resources for that first. And let's make sure we put some in production as well. We need one for checking the O2 tanks. That is turning off the generator. Then we need one for airlock 1 and we need one for airlock 2. So we need 3 event controls for the moment. So this is going to be event controller check O2, and let me do this small O2 tank. Okay. Then this one is going to be event controller airlock 1, and then this is going to be event controller airlock 2. Let me get the rest of the resources. So first things first, we're going to set up this one here. So now we're looking for the event controller, which we just enabled, and I'm going to check for tank full. So we should have gas somewhere, gas tank filled, and we're looking for the gas tank that is Phrygia outpost. We're going to add this block. I'm going to say I want this to be at 50%. So once the tank hits 50, it should stop the generator. That's the plan. So currently the tank is at 52%. That means we're going to have to drain it a little bit. Go. Select actions. When that happens, we need to go to the O2 generator. This one here. And it has to be turned off. And there it has to be turned on. I think. Now, this is still going to be on until this one is going to go below that. Just trying to get a little bit of oxygen out of here. Now this is on 49%. So if I now turn this on, at 50%, it should stop. Bam. There we go. So my O2 generator has now turned off. Perfect. That means if I open this up, then the door should empty. No, you're not turning on. I think. Let me try this again. Let's see. Still at 5%. I need to empty a lot of oxygen. Give me a second here. You turned on again, and now you're going to fill up this tank again until it's at 50%. Perfect. Now this is set up. I can now focus on the depressurizing and all of my doors. So we're going to start with this here. This is the airlock controller 1. What I need to do is I need to open you up. I need to put you on depressurize for the moment. And we're going to have the same here. We're going to have to depressurize you. Put you on depressurize. I'm going to close this door. Now the inside door is closed and I'm going to turn this door off. I'm going to do the same on the one on the other side. This one has to be turned off. This one can be opened and closed. Yes. All right. Now, event controller, airlock 1 has to check if doors are closed. Door is opened. That's one. And it has to check these 2 doors that are part of airlock 1. Okay. Now we go to actions. And now we need to add the doors to this. So in action 1, in the second slot, we're going to say in the door on off. So we're going to look for airlock in the door. Airlock 1 in the door. And we're going to say on off. Then in toolbar 2, we're going to do the same, and we're going to take the outer door, and we're going to say the same here and say on off. And then number 3, we're going to say air vent depressurize on off. Air vent 1, depressurize on off. Now we're looking for the air vent. It's of course with a space, vent. We're looking for air vent 1. And there is an actions, and I didn't know that. That's very interesting. So the air vent does have actions in here. And in here, we're going to say the 2 actions here. In here, we're going to say open inner door. And here, we're going to say open outer door. So we're going to say door again. And we're looking for the inner door here. We're going to say open. And we're going to say outer door here. And I'm going to say open. Alright. And that is the first airlock. Now let's check if that works. And if we manage to get this airlock to work. So if I want to open this door, I need to close this door. It's going to start venting and it's going to open this door automatically. Perfect. Then I'm going to go in here. You can see the door is turned off. If I now close this door, it's going to depressurize and it's going to open this door. I love it. I love it. Alright, so this is definitely a very cool setup. If you want to check it out, I will drop the link in the description to the person that I found this guide for. So we're just going to do the other door and we should be done with the airlocks. Once again, I'm just going to do this off screen. You don't need to see this again. And I'll see you back in a second. Because now I can go in here. I can close this door. Perfect. You know what I could do as well is actually put a sensor here. That if I come here, it activates this door. But I think we're good by just closing the doors. Going in here. I cannot get out here though. So what we might have to do, we will have to put a button here. Yeah. A button that always closes the outer door. Yeah, alright. Let's do that as well. Not sure if I have buttons on my inventory. Is that the only buttons we have? Control. Panel. Oh, I didn't unlock this yet. You mean there's not a single button I unlocked here yet for that? Yeah, we need to find some scrap. Might have to do a little tour and find some scrap for like sensors and stuff. Great system. I got one little problem. I cannot build buttons. So we're gonna have to find some buttons to be able to control this. I probably could put a button block in here that at least allows me to do that. Let me just put that block here. I did have the G button and we could put that one here like this. Alright. And what I'm gonna have to do here, this button has to close inner door outlock. So we need to find the inner door airlock 2. And it has to be closed. So this should normally open this door for me. Yep, alright, good. And we might get to a point where we're always gonna have that issue. So I would prefer... Yeah, I would definitely prefer to work with a sensor or something in the future. But I'm pretty happy it works. This is a decent airlock. We just need to do some fine-tuning to... Because if I close this door now, I cannot get out of my base anymore. I mean, theoretically. Alright, So what I'm gonna do here, we're gonna go to our airlock and we're gonna put a dash in here, as in we are starting that, but that's not finished yet. We did test planetary atmosphere. Actually, what we did test was the oxygen. So let's do this and say test planetary O2. So we did test this. Now we just need to check if the atmosphere for the fighter will work. What I want to do, I want to add a atmospheric thruster and I want to see if this atmospheric thruster is going to work. I do have flat nose. I did not unlock these, no, did I? Cannot read, what? Compressor? What's a compressor? What's a compressor? What? What the hell is a compressor? Assertive loot. That means I cannot build atmo thrusters like this until I have compressors. Interesting. Well, we cannot build atmo thrusters. So I cannot test this. All right. With that done, we can now focus on the fighter, I would say. We've been doing a lot in the... Oh, effing hell, no. No! Well, good thing I have a door here. Alright, we always have an airlock open here. That's good. Alright, let's start with grinding down everything. So I'm gonna open up the ship again as much as possible. See if we can put a tank in here. I think this tank is like 5x5. That's a big tank. I got a feeling our ship is too small to do this. I might have to disconnect it and land it on a little bit of a higher platform. Alright, so I'm just gonna grind everything on the top away and we'll check how we can fit a tank in there, how we can fit the O2 tank and the generator in there. So I'm gonna just probably speed up most of this now until we get to a point where we might be building, or just go and speed through it all. Now, let's see. Can I put the tank in here or not? Okay, that is where the tank goes. That's the only place where the tank goes. There we go. That's pretty big, isn't it? Alright, let me take this away here and this. So we can replace the back with... in the back, we're going to put our O2 generator. Like that. That means that we're going to have to put a conveyor in the back so that we can put our connector on there. Like this. I might have to weld you up again because I already forgot where your connections are. That, then conveyor like this and connector like that. There we go. So now we have a large tank, we have an O2 generator, O2H2, and then we have our connector in the back. This means that the tank might be pretty visible, so we're gonna have to be careful for that when we're doing any fighting. Because if they hit our tank, it's bye-bye ship. Okay, I don't think we're getting anywhere with this. The tank is too close. That means I cannot cover it. And I do not want to leave the hydrogen tank too vulnerable. I do know it can take some shots, but I don't want to risk it. So I'm going to move it, I think, backwards. But before we move it backwards, we need to figure out how far is this block need to be moving. So if we just remove these plates on top for a second. How many blocks is this? This is 1, 2. So that's 5 blocks wide. That means we will need to end up 5 blocks wide and more. We need, I think, 7 blocks around this thing. So let's say we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this 1, 2. And we just basically make a wedge until the tank fits in there. Something like this on both sides. Then we put some angles in here. It's angled in. And then it goes one step out here just to be able to cover the tank. Let me just lay this out a bit so I know how far exactly do we need to put that tank. Because that is where the tank is going to fit in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. 4 blocks depth. Yeah. The tank is going to fit in here, I think. From here, because we will be able to, I think. Let's say 4 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So let me grind this away. And I'm pretty sure we're going to end up with the time lapse again. But I do want to give you a little bit of my thinking before we head into it. You kind of see what I mean. So I want an O2 generator, and we will probably need a conveyor. So that's 1, 2, 3. That means we're missing 1 block. So we can either use one of the what is it? Pretty sure we have one like this. The problem is that this is pretty pointless. It just is a filler. So it might just be better to just work with that and then fill the gaps in between the conveyor and the O2 tank. And what I'm probably gonna do, I'm probably gonna move my connector to the bottom, lower, instead of on the back. It means we will have to figure out a different landing zone, but that's not that important. So I'm gonna start grinding these things off. So on the back here, we're going to put a conveyor, which is going to be just a conveyor that converts to small connectors. On there, I'm going to put 2 conveyors here and here. Like that. And then in between, we can put some stuff. So in here, for example, we can put our antenna. Let's put it inside of here. I'm going to put this antenna like this, or like this, it doesn't really matter. Then on top, we're going to put 2 gyros, which we can put later. And then here we can put the O2 tank against it. Make sure it lines up with the connectors like this. So conveyor, conveyor converter, conveyors, O2 tank, O2 generator, and then against this, we can put our hydrogen tank. Yeah. And that should give us enough space to make this a little bulkier. Yeah. All right, let's weld this all up. Alright, so now this should be lined up. Now we have the conveyor here, we got the conveyor there, that goes in there. Yeah, alright, good. So that's much better. Let's put the 2 gyros in here. One here and one here. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's gonna fill the gap here, and then we just need to make the overlap to there. That means here we can do 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And I think here is the point where we're gonna extend to our tank. Like this. This is gonna go around our tank. Although I cannot build it, but this is gonna go around our tank outside. So it's gonna do this. If I'm just using those angles, so it kind of lines up, but not entirely with the cockpit. So that allows me to make an angle towards that corner. Let me just weld this up because I don't see the shapes of it, and it's a bit annoying that I don't see them. So that corner can just... This is the continuation, so we can put a regular block like that here, and a regular block like that here. Then we should be able to work with the larger design one like that. And then the other block with just a little P out. There. We might have to adjust this a little bit, but we'll see. Okay, let me just weld this up so we can see what the shape is. And that should be about it now. This gonna overlap. We can work over here now. Make some protection over it. It doesn't have to go too high. We can use half blocks maybe. This is gonna be way bulkier than we used before. So what I might want to do, we might have to widen the ship a bit. Add some wing, some blocks that add to the wing. Because I think, because it's going to be so much higher and bulkier, we want to slim it down a bit to the sides. And I think using some color stripes might be a good solution as well to just hide the bulkiness of it. All right. So I'm gonna time lapse this. I'm gonna go to bed first because it's getting dark again. I'm gonna time lapse this, and if I have anything important to mention or whatever, I can just cut to it, talk about it, and then jump back in the time lapse. But let's go to bed, and I'll be back in a second. same? Looks like it. No, I think everything is symmetrical. Everything is symmetrical here. And everything is symmetrical here. A few more things I want to put on the bottom is AI block, event controller in here. And then we're going to put 2 event controllers in here as well. So one event controller will be for the when we connect, so it turns everything off. And the other event controller will be when we lose gas, we should get an alarm. There we go. So we got our gyros installed, we got our antenna installed, we got the remote control, we got a defense block, we got 2 event controllers. Am I missing anything else before we start closing this up? Alright, we're getting to a point again that the video is getting pretty long, so I'm gonna just cut ahead and summarize what we did. As you can see on the bottom of the ship, I have added one of the new truss pillars that was added with the signal update. In the front, I added a cylinder with a camera, so I could replace the camera and no longer have it on top. I also put a mag plate on the bottom that is going to serve for the moment as a landing gear. I do hope to do some changes in the future where we have some more nice looking landing gears on the ship. In the front, we also added the light for the moment where the assault cannon is going to go in the future. So we just have something to fill up the gap and also have some light when we're aiming at something. We still did not install the assault gun because I don't have the blueprint. And I might have to put some temporary assault turrets on my ship to serve me in battle until we do. But I do generally like the style. I'm pretty happy with what we made so far. I hope you guys let me know as well what you think of it. If you have any suggestions, I can always see and learn from it. But I'm pretty happy with how the ship turned out so far. Now, you might notice I put another stripe there on the wings. Now, these were first yellow, but they are, I think, a little bit too bright and they were a little bit too much. But I did want to put some detail on it. So let me know what you think. Do you like the gray, or do you think another design color would be a better choice? Let me know. But in general, I like the design. I do like the accent colors we used for this, just to give it a little bit more pop. But we're going to have to test how it feels. We're going to have to test how long the hydrogen tank does last this time. And another thing I need to do is I need to set up the ship as well. I'm going to go in there, set up a toolbar so everything is set up. And then once it is done, we'll jump straight into a test flight to see how the fuel is handling. I'm okay with the back. I do think it could use some more detailing. The thrusters are always a very hard thing to work around because of the collision box. But for the moment, we're going to leave it as it is. And then while we're flying, we might come up with some ideas. Of course, if you have any, let me know in the comments. Let's blueprint it, rename, just name it as the same as the one we have, delete, okay, yes. All right, let's jump into it and let's have a test. Let's see how this ship is flying, how it's holding up. We're gonna mainly keep an eye on our hydrogen tank and do some test flying. We're gonna fly towards the third base. We are definitely going there much quicker. The acceleration of this fighter definitely has improved compared with what we used before. But the tank seems to be holding up much better. We lost 3% so far, but as you can see, the thrusters are now holding my ship up pretty well. We weigh much more than before, so it is a good thing. We can fly upside down, we can hang sideways. The ship seems to be holding up pretty well, at least in this gravity. All right. I think this is not bad. We might have to fly around a little bit longer just to see how much it drains of the tank. But for the moment, I've been flying around for about, what is this, a minute and a half. And we're at 95%. We got our guns. Camera is definitely better here, I think, to shoot stuff. Yeah. So we should be able to just... yeah, okay. Let me just fly a little bit further. Let's see if there's anything that pops in that we might be able to scrap in the meantime. I think that's the next planet we're gonna have to move to later. But we still need to build our hydrogen production. Now, what I'm gonna have to do is put the hydrogen production on a separate network. Because you remember I set up the O2 generator to stop working when the oxygen tank is filled up. So we don't want to have the two lines connected, so we need to put the hydrogen and the oxygen separate to ensure that the airlocks still keep working. So what am I hoping for next time is to find a projector and welder. I think these would be two nice finds. Because if I have a projector, I would have to less worry about my fighters to be damaged. Alright, I've been flying for around about 6 minutes and we are now at 69% of the tank, which is way better than we had before with the previous fighter. We lasted for 4.5 minutes, so this is really good. I think we should be okay for the next battle, but I do need to add a sound block to warn me when we get really close to an empty tank. I have to say I'm pretty happy with this one. Looks cool as well. Definitely one of my better fighters. We did quite some work, by the way. Let me just... Alright, upgrade fighter has been done. I think the next one will be add defenses. And I think next time we're also going to focus on building the mining drill and hydrogen storage. All right, I think that's going to be it for today. I think we did quite a lot of work. I think we're going to go to bed and see you again next week. Hopefully our little fellow is there as well for another time lapse. Who knows? But that is it. Have a good one. See you next time.